G'day fellas and welcome to Empire Wars. We are here casting the very first Empire Wars game. Spawning in on the north side of the map, playing as the English in the color red, we've got Myriad. And on the south side of the map, in the color blue, playing as the Mongols, we've got Mr. Merlin. Now, I would be zooming in on these two fellas, except for the fact that I can't actually zoom in. With the new patch, it's a little bit bugged. So hopefully that gets fixed up before this gets to release. Of course, there's still a couple of weeks left, so hopefully we do see that come through. But let's talk a little bit about what we've got right here. We've got Empire Wars. Now, already you can see the age ups coming through. We're 46 seconds into this game. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. So you start with 26 villages. For the English, they get a ring of farms around their mill, and that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy there, which is definitely nice, right? Like infinite food from the beginning of the game allows these sheep to last a little bit longer. Over on the other side, the Mongols, they also start with 26 villages. The difference is they get an extra gur, so they start with 2 gurs, and they get 2 pastures and an uvu at the beginning of the game. So quite a lot going on for them, but to be honest, I still kind of prefer what the English get compared to the Mongols, just because, don't get me wrong, like having the pastures is nice, but are you actually going to use them? I mean, having the sheep is fun, but not to mention that the second gur is just kind of a bit of a meme at that point. But anyway, we move on, we move forward. You get what you're given, and we sit down and we shut up. So, over on the other side of the map, though, we've got the Abbey of Kings coming up. Immediately, we see the barracks getting dropped down as well. Now, remember, the king has been buffed. And I'm not talking about the king from the Outback Octagon, ladies and gentlemen. I am talking about the king from the Abbey of King and his kingly presence, his kingly aura. There it is, only 120, 120 for this bad boy. Age up on the other side of the map. Both of them coming in before 2 minutes, of course, for Mr. Merlin. It's going to be the Silver Tree. We'll take a look and see where his actual trade post is. So, it's just over here. In this corner. Now, has he spotted it out yet? He hasn't actually spotted it out yet. So Mr. Merlin needs to be reprimanded for his scouting. Not the best. He's going to move the Silver Tree down towards this corner of the map. We can see, oh my, I didn't even know you could just unpack it like that through the fog of war. Is that even legal? Anyway, probably needs to throw down a market in this corner if he actually wants to get some decent trades going. Otherwise, he's going to have not the best of time, but I'm sure he'll be sending out a villager towards that corner very, very shortly. Now we start to see the first of the Keshiks coming out of the bag. Now, of course, for anybody who has already missed it, the Keshik is the brand new Mongol unit that has the ability to lifesteal, and it's a lot of lifesteal. You're stealing 3 health every single attack. Now, it's of course until you get the upgrades in the Imperial Age, which I infamously didn't understand. And take a look at that. We do get a little bit of a spot of the king right there coming through. Now, of course, the king's got his own healing ability, but it is just an aura. And take a look at the base right now, coming out from Myriad, a myriad of buildings beginning to come down. Double archery range coming through as well. So interesting opening coming through from Myriad. I'm curious whether we haven't actually seen any second town center getting thrown down yet. Let's run on board with Mr. Merlin for a little bit. Silver Tree is now producing, and I have no idea where this Silver Tree thinks it's going, but fair enough. And you can see Mr. Merlin is now scouting that out. Scout going to be spotting out the gold vein. Merlin looks like he might be going to the castle age. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, Mr. Merlin also creates content on YouTube. He's got about 3,000 subscribers. So if you're interested in checking out your own casted, or not your own casted game, but Mr. Merlin's own casted games, make sure you go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch him over on YouTube. He does casted content the same way I do. He does, obviously, all this content that we're seeing at the moment. Is playing games. He's loving life at the moment, so go show him some love. He's an Englishman, so don't hold it against him for too long. But we do now start to see Myriad, who is playing the English, not Mr. Merlin. I'd zoom in right there, but unfortunately the Keshik dies so quickly I couldn't even do it. Over on the other side of the map, Mr. Merlin under pressure right now. Myriad just hitting with him in a myriad of different. I'm not gonna make that statement anymore. I've already said it one too many times. And now we have this is what I like to call the walk of shame. I mean, technically it's not a walk, it's more of a roll of shame. This is the kind of thing that you do when you're 300 kilos overweight. For anybody who's playing along in the United States, that's 640 pounds. So when you're 640 pounds overweight, this is kind of what you got to do. You just got to keep rolling like Limp Bizkit. It's a sad state of affairs to be a Silver Tree on the wrong side of the map. So he does spot out that trade post. Now, what Mr. Merlin could have done was just sat here making traders and then sent a villager to make a market in this corner and then just send them out and just kind of do the trade trick, but it's not really a trick. But look at this, Mr. Merlin going to be able to pick up a couple of reinforcements as they come across the map. There's still a pretty decent mass of spears here, so he might need to be careful. Khan is going to get focused down, manages to stay alive. Very, very nice play there from Merlin. We're right on board with Myriad as he looks to try and put some pressure on out across this map. King just kind of chilling out for the moment. Behind this, the wall has come up for Myriad. Obviously, he lost that one villager out there, but the numbers are starting to build for him. We do see +1 coming through. Going to be the ranged attack that he's going to start us off with. Very, very nice. Now, Merlin still looks like he's going Castle Age. I say it looks like he's going Castle Age when in reality, it's just Merlin's macro is not the best. I think for anybody wondering or playing along at home, I think Merlin is Conqueror, maybe Conqueror 1, Conqueror 2, somewhere around that region. So not the best player. I'm just kidding, guys. Calm down. It's a joke. That's a joke. Conqueror 2 is obviously very good. But we do see Akashic does go down. So Merlin losing a couple of units early on here, but now the attack's going to come through. Second town center is going to get dropped down from Mr. Merlin. A lot of villagers here, 14 villagers. Longbows should be able to one-shot vills or very close to it. We do see 2 of them going down so far. Oh my lord, it's just 1 health too many. 7, what is it? 7 times 7, 49, of course. So unfortunately there for Myriad. Not going to be able to pick up the one-shots on the vills. It does still take out a fair amount of villagers. Now, behind this, Merlin's got double TC and trade. Now, the numbers that he's going to be pulling in for trade aren't very, very good. So, I would hope that he looks to fix this up. King actually going to be doing some great harassment. And I think this is actually a Mogul move coming in. Going like into the King just to deal with the trade. Now, King is a little bit slow. He's 1.69 movement speed against the Kashik, which is 1.94. Now, that obviously is charging, so that's going to come down from 1.94. Which one is not charging? You're not charging. 1.62. Wait, 1.62 against what? 1.69. Oh, the King can outrun these units. Okay. Now, the King doesn't heal, but it can run back to the Abbey, which can heal. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty tempted just to keep doing what you're doing right there. It makes a lot of sense the way the Myriad's are going to play this. Upgrades now starting to come through for Myriad. Going to be moving into the ranged armor, which definitely makes sense. And no signs of Castle Age just yet still coming through from either of these plays. I'm going to switch it over now, over to the economic tab. Well, not the economic tab, rather, but we're going to switch it over to the income per minute so you guys can see exactly what these guys are dealing with at the moment. And already, I mean, at this point, you can start to see just how many resources they're collecting here. Now, Merlin is going Castle Age, and it's going to be the step out. So not going to go for the Kurultai, not going to go for that double healing combo that is possible. Of course, you can go for the Kurultai together with the Kashyyyks. And look at the Kashyyyks moving out here. Could look to pick off a couple of units here. Not going to be able to find it. Remember, these Kashyyyks do get that extra armor. They are quite low on health, so you've got to be careful with them. But now, looking around the corner, I'm curious what Merlin looks to go into here because it doesn't have a lot of production down. And resources are not terrible, but 15 villagers on the step out, he's going to be under pressure. I'd love to see, like, men-at-arms for him in this position, or even moving into mass archers with veterancy. Not going to be able to find it. Nice little raid back home as well. The King is back here, so should be able to take it out. Plenty of villagers here, and the longbows look like they might get obliterated. Instead, Myriad's just going to say, you know what? I don't mind. I'm just going to start putting on the pressure here. Now, that lifesteal going to start coming in heavy for Mr. Merlin. I tried to zoom in there. Not going to have any luck, unfortunately. And now we've got a second town center getting thrown down here for Myriad. But the defense for Myriad looking pretty solid, honestly. The fact that you've got the palings from the longbows together with the spears, and it looks like Merlin's actually going to be forced back from this position at the same time, still dealing with the attack on the other side of the map. He's losing traders, but honestly, his traders are doing so little, I don't even feel like he's really losing anything. If anything, he's losing opportunity, right? But we do see now double stable's going to come down. Siege Workshop also going to come down from Merlin, so maybe looking to move into a Mangonel, which is an interesting play, but definitely makes a lot of sense. If he can go up to double Mangonel, he can deal with the spears pretty effectively. Together with the Kashyyyks. Kashyyyks get their veterancy upgrade coming through now. And it looks like the other Kashyyyks from on the north side of the map will be returning back to base. Now, I gotta ask you guys, how do you feel about the pace of Empire Wars? Personally, I love it. I love this. I feel like, you know, normally when we're casting Age of Empires 4, the early stages of the game are very much, you know, an introduction phase. I'm talking about what I had for breakfast, whether I had a good sleep last night, all that kind of stuff. It's not that good. I say it's not that good, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's not that entertaining, right? Like when you think about it, when I'm watching Empire Wars, man, we've got barely any time to introduce the players before the age ups are coming through, and action is beginning very quickly. I'm a fan of this. I really like it. And look, at the end of the day, it kind of hurts me, right? Because if my videos are longer, it means that I've got higher watch time. It means that you guys see more ads. That's a good thing for me. But I love watching these fast-paced games because at the end of the day, what excites me is action, and that's what I want to see. I don't care about those other things. I care about action. That's what matters to me. And I reckon this is going to be it. So, as I mentioned in a previous video, we're going to be doing an Empire Wars tournament. I don't know exactly how that format's going to go. I don't know who we're going to invite. I don't know how it's going to go down. I don't even know when we're going to do it. It's going to be on the pup, I can say that much. And it's probably going to be pretty damn soon. But I'm curious, what would you like to see from an Empire Wars tournament? How would you like it to go down? Mangonel shot goes a little bit short right there. How would you like to see it go down, though? That's the question I'd like to know the answer to. But big shots coming off right there. And already Merlin looking like he might be under pressure here. We can see that the battering rams will get taken out. Trying to keep the town center alive. It is repairing up over on the other side of the map, though. The White Tower will begin to come down in the front of the base for Myriad. Only 7 vills on the White Tower, so going to take some time to get up here. But of course, both players on 2 TC now, so economy definitely going to be scaling towards the late game for both of these civs. Now, in the event we get to the late game, I have no idea who wins here, just because the Keshik is a brand new unit, and when you're dealing with a unit like with lifesteal, up against a unit like the Men-at-Arms, which is what the English have got recently that's been buffed, I get a little bit worried, because the Men-at-Arms, they've got lots of armor, which means that they can tank lots of damage. The problem is the Keshiks love dealing damage because they get extra health back from it. So I'm curious to see how that matchup goes, but look at this. A really big wall starting to come through from Myriad. Much bigger than what I'm used to seeing. Normally, I would be, you know, appreciating these smaller, tighter walls that you see. Definitely not walls this big, but White Tower looks like it will get up. I don't think there's going to be any way Merlin's going to be able to stop that. And the White Tower just going to be able to push these units back very effectively. It looks like veteran Keshiks still yet to receive their ranged armor. In fact, take a look at Mr. Merlin. Mr. Merlin, I can't believe, how are you a Conqueror player and yet not a single upgrade coming through from Mr. Merlin right now? I don't see any, maybe it's bugged? Is it bugged? Let's check. It's not bugged. It's not bugged. It's not bugged. Merlin is just a special kind of special. Spearman moving out. So, when we talk about the changes that have happened, not for Empire Wars, but for these civilizations specifically, so the longbow got changed a little bit so that the Men-at-Arms now has the campfire ability, and it also increases the line of sight of scouts, but that's it. Realistically, not a bunch of other really big changes. Yeah, I mean, nothing too big off the top of my head that I can think of for the English. Obviously, the Mongols, they've got Keshiks now. And that's, you know, Keshiks are all the rage. These units are kind of good. Kind of good. What's going on with these villages? Or maybe, I'm not sure exactly what happened here. I think Merlin might be moving into veteran archers, which if he is, that's definitely the play here. The interesting thing about Keshiks, though, is they are not going to be as good late game as what the Lancer was. At least I don't think they will be. Actually, I don't know, mate. Maybe the cat's still out of the bag on that one. Is that the right saying? The cat's still out of the bag? Like we don't yet know. We don't have enough information yet. You know, it's an unidentified late game situation. A USL. As they call it in that's what the spooks call it. A USL. So it is definitely unidentified at the moment. I'm not sure exactly how we tag it, but I would suspect that the Keshik's probably not going to be as strong as the Mongol Lancer previously was in the late game. But I think there's a couple of interesting uses for it, and I think it's going to synergize really well with landmarks like the Kurultai. I think the Kurultai would be really, really good with it. But we do see, of course, Myriad now starting to add in more and more units. At the moment, the army value for Merlin is significantly greater than that for Myriad, despite the economic or the military pops being quite even here. Take a look at that. You've got a 1,500 advantage over for Merlin. He's doing the classic everybody move out across the map here, including the sheep. Sheep is always welcome to join the party. You can see the sheep is actually the slowest unit here. Interesting that the traction trebuchet is faster than the mangonel. I didn't know that. Who knew that? Anybody actually know that? If you knew that, write it in the comments that you knew that the traction treb was faster than the mangonel. And look at this, Mr. Merlin taking a page out of the book of who was it that did this? I think Vortex was the first to come up with the trenches, but definitely taking a page out of the book of Vortex here. No relics picked up just yet for either players. As I say that, we hear the first one getting picked up for Myriad, and the second one now getting picked up for Myriad. And we saw a monk moving out. How many monasteries do you want? And he just says yes. Yes. Now, I'm hoping Merlin's brought out like 4 to 5 villages here. Okay, 4 vills. All right, not bad, not bad. All right, so Merlin now on the prowl. Plenty of vills out here. Army value still pretty significant. He's got a 2,000 lead. It's important to note that the Spring Lords here on the field will deal effectively with these units until the trench is up. But the trenches are going to have time to come up. The consequence of not leapfrogging. And Mangonel's shot on the back line is absolutely massive. Springald should be able to take it out if Myriad's got good micro. It looks like he's got pretty decent micro, but Spears are moving back, and Merlin with a very large army going to start pushing forward right now. Myriad's got to be careful. Another big mango shot coming through, and you can see all the healing now beginning to come through for these Keshiks. Looking to push these units back. Will be successful. I think almost all of the villagers. No, never mind. He's got 3 of the villagers back here, so he needs to start bringing these outposts in slowly. Can't just go straight to the front line immediately. So we ideally want to see Merlin. What is going on right now? Is he looking to repair the mangonel? Oh Lord. You want to pull more vills at this point. Can we pull more vills up? Maybe another 4 or 5 vills up towards the front. We want to get that trench going right now because we can threaten all 3 of these landmarks. They're all very close to each other. If we can get to, say, 4 trebs, we can sit them behind this wall right here, and I'm pretty sure we could probably look to treb down these, at least the first 2 landmarks. The problem that we're going to have is these Springalds are going to be supported by the White Tower, which means non-stop Springalds going to be coming out. So we need to make sure that we keep on top of the Springald numbers. Could even look for an early imp to deal with enemy Springalds just for that roller shutter triggers, but now we see the Mangonel did get taken out there. Second Springald also going to be losing its life. But the numbers here for Mr. Merlin, I mean, they're looking good, but there's a little bit of a choke point towards his top side. And as long as the spears come through to meet them, Springald firing off on the back line. Crossbows are back here as well. I think he should be okay. Myriad is looking to defend this. He's got pretty decent numbers, and indeed, he should be absolutely fine. No Mangonels on the field. All the Springalds are dead for Myriad. But it's not really going to matter, honestly. I think this is absolutely fine for him. And he's going to be able to push this back. And we don't see that Springald emplacement coming through just yet for Mr. Merlin. And that's going to mean he's not going to be able to hold this position. And we'll probably lose this. Outpost has obviously lost the largest of the mass here. So ideally for him, needs to be moving into something like crossbows. Crossbows are really solid underneath this position, allow you to have that flexibility to drop down your siege, and we still don't see a single upgrade yet from Mr. Merlin. Don't be doing us like that, Mr. Merlin. Look at this. Not a single upgrade. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it, Mr. Merlin. Get it together, son. Get it together. Uvu, not yet replaced. I'm going to guess Mr. Merlin is not a Mongol main. I'm going to say that right now. I think Merlin's probably a bit more of a... What's a real basic civ? Like, if you were the most basic player, what civilization would you play? And see, the problem is, I've kind of like walked myself into a trap where there's no correct answer. I saw this meme on Reddit. It was like, I said to my wife that I saw somebody down at the store and it looked just like you. And she asked me, was she good looking? And it's like, well, what do you say there? If you say yes, then it's like, I can't believe you were looking at her. And you know, you said she's good looking. And then if you say no, she wasn't good looking at all. It's like, well, why would you say that? You know, if she looks like me. It's like, there's no right answer. So to answer the question, what civilization does Mr. Merlin play? He's probably an Age of Empires 2 player. We'll say that much about the guy. He's not actually. He's an Age of Empires 3 player, which explains a lot. But hey, come on. It's a nice quip. You're allowed to joke about things that you are. Remember, we talked about this before. If you've got a disability, you can joke about that disability. I did see great Jimmy Carr joke from that about that. Oh, that was a funny one. I'm not going to repeat it just because it's not the nicest, but that was a funny joke. That's a lot of jokes mentioned in a short amount of time right there. I think that might be our world record joke counter. But I'm more and more this game plays out, I'm liking Myriad's position just because obviously as we get towards the late game, his composition is going to be incredibly solid. Playing like spear crossbow is just absolutely amazing to play into, especially with the Springalds in the back. But on top of that, the English just an incredibly solid civilization. The one thing that the Mongols have got going for them is siege superiority, but it doesn't really feel like Merlin's cracking into that just yet. He hasn't really looked to take advantage of trade either, and all 5 relics, or at least 4 of those 5 relics, are now going to be snagged away. Of course, that 5th relic remaining in the middle will surely be picked up soon. And there's the campfire, the brand new campfire mechanic. We are going to see that. Berkshire Palace now in the middle of the map, going to be placed down. So Myriad not going to be falling for the trap of going in for a wind guard. Instead, we're going to see the Berkshire. I say falling for the trap. It's not really falling for the trap. I mean, what do you even make from the wind guard anymore? Like, now that trebuchets are nerfed, and they got nerfed in so many ways. Like, shattering projectiles got nerfed. Geometry got nerfed. The damage from trebuchets got nerfed. Trebuchets got nerfed just in general. Like, their population efficiency got nerfed. It's like, I don't really like trebs anymore. Like, I feel like they've got their niche position, but for the English, going into, like, shattering projectile trebs as long-range mangoes just doesn't seem to make much sense anymore. So, yeah, I think Berkshire here makes pretty good sense. Obviously, it's a nice defensive building. And especially against the Mongols, like, what do the Mongols even do against Berkshire? Berkshire outranges everything except for the Hui Hui Pow. Hui Hui Pow. Hui Pui Pow. I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I did that. It's Boom Boom Pow. It's not Hui Pui Pow. But anyway, I hope I don't get DMCA'd for that. Berkshire Palace now up. Imperial Age is through. He's going to start firing down upon these units, and Mr. Merlin is going to have to resort to... to tapping out, Mr. Merlin. Oh, the poor guy. He sees the Berkshire. He says good night. Fellas, I hope you've enjoyed this casted game. Make sure you go check out Mr. Merlin. I'm going to leave a link in the description of where you can go watch him over on YouTube. Check out his channel. Leave him a subscribe. Go watch his videos. Enjoy his content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.